Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. This is Friday Reads, and I am here with a plea. I am begging you and pleading with you that we stop doing some things that I'm getting ready to talk about. Stop publishing these. Stop. I'm going to get my first physical book out of the way, and this is a fine book. I actually have not a lot bad to say about this, and that's The Neverlist by Jade Presley. This is a vibes book, and I've seen a few other people read and review it and say the same thing. If you want a low angst, fun YJs, this is where you want to go. This is about a young girl. See, I don't remember her name now. Shit. Riley. This is about Riley, and she sneaks into the upper city. She is a member of the lower caste. She is a demi, and this makes her both an outcast and someone who is kind of actively hunted by the government. But she sneaks into the upper class city on the night of the choosing, and this is when the four Legends of Chaos, these four princes, hold a lottery, and a woman is possibly chosen to try out and trial being their mate, their grounding figure for a while. If they succeed, which no one has, they will become queen, princess queen. They'll become immortal if they can survive it, and they will have power and all this stuff, whatever. She's there to look for her sister, who was also in the upper city at some point a couple of years ago, I believe it was. She's looking for her, and she thinks if she sneaks into the choosing, she could sneak into like the archives and find her sister and find out what happened to her. Instead, of course, she gets chosen, and she has to go stay with these four princes in their four like little domain cities in this kingdom. It's just vibes, you know. It's just her dating these four guys and having fun and hanging out. And there is a little bit of plot. There's a very interesting political structure here, a very interesting religious setup. I want to see more of that, and I think based on the ending of this book, we will see more of that in the next book. So I will be continuing this. This is a really pretty book. This is a Red Tower book, right? I feel like this is a Red Tower book. It is a Red Tower book. So they didn't do bad on this one. I quite liked this. This was fun. Do not regret the purchase, and do not regret the read. Now, my God, let's get the worst book out of the way. And there has been so much discourse online about reading repubbed fanfiction, specifically Harry Potter repubbed fanfiction. And frankly, I've never liked any kind of repubbed fanfiction. I think perhaps Julie Soto's Not Another Love Song might have been a Raylo fanfic, but she did such a fantastic job of scrubbing it down and making it just a great contemporary. And I was like, okay, Julie Soto actually has this skill that I don't think any other author has that I have tried. So I read Rose in Chains. Now, in my defense, I will also say I requested this before I knew that it was a Dromione fanfiction. I would not have requested this had I known that. I also wouldn't have had it pre-ordered at one point in time. I, one, was never a Dromione fan, and two, I'm just not a super Harry Potter fan anymore for various reasons. And Julie Soto probably doesn't have those skills that I think she had. So this, I'm going ahead and tell you, is a 1-star read. I don't recommend it at all. It's not a book I will ever retry to read. It is a book I will actively discourage people from reading, and I am so sorry because I feel terrible. I requested it on NetGalley, and they gave me an arc to read, so I did read it because I always try to read my NetGalley arcs, even if it takes me forever, years in some cases. But I thought I would get this one done because it is so topical right now. And this does the slavery thing. This does the slavery thing. Can we stop doing that? Can we stop that in fiction books? I understand. I fully understand that there are people out there that is their thing. That is their kink. They get sexually satisfied. They get emotionally satisfied from those situations and those dynamics in a relationship. However, that is done in a safe and loving situation. You usually have a safe word. You usually have a partner who cares about you, who is not abusing you. And these books, none of them are convincing me or selling me that that is the case. Firebird, it was not. Rose in Chains, it is not. Oh my God, can we not? Can we stop? Can we stop that? Also, stop with the fan fiction. Nobody can do it right. I don't think, besides that one, I have ever read one that I've not been like, here are the bones. Here is the story it's based off of. I don't enjoy this. Anyway, Rose and Chains. This presents a story of a young woman who's the twin, the sibling, I don't know if she's a twin or just the younger sister of the twice over heir. We couldn't even change the boy who lived. We couldn't even drop a title. We had to at least give it another 3-word title. He is this prophesied heir, and the day of this battle comes, and he is supposed to go face these forces and defeat them and bring peace to the kingdoms. He doesn't do that. He dies. No spoilers, first chapter, obviously. And these forces come in, they take all the women of the opposing force, they capture them, they beat them, they abuse them, they rape them in some cases, I'm just going to call it what it is, and they sit them in a storage container, they clean them up, and then they sell them off, and she is included in this batch. Gross and disgusting. I hate this. This is the first 30% of the book. It's like, I'm using vague terms, but this is what happens. She of course is purchased by a high school, not compatriot, frenemy, enemy. This is the Draco of the story. She's purchased by his family, and he brings her to his castle and locks her in her room for days. And his mother, wears her down. Anyway, it is that story of her coming to terms with what is happening, how she is being used for her magic, and like a breeding tool. Now listen, there is on-page sexual assault. There is on-page sexual harassment. She is enslaved. She has no real agency nor free will. She is not given respect. She is not given much kindness ever at any point, and I did not believe any of the romantic hints or obvious moments at all. Additionally, Julie Soto threw in these flashbacks that I feel like perhaps were meant to reinforce that this wasn't the Harry Potter Hermione fanfiction that it was. I don't know if they were in the original one, but it only did the opposite, because these flashbacks take them back to their magical school days when they're all in magical school together. And it's just like, first off, it's not well written. Second off, I absolutely hated all of the characters and everything that was happening, and I felt it was gross. I felt gross reading it. It made my stomach upset. It was just unsettling. It's disgusting. And two, I, for 1 minute, did not believe that this was not Harry Potter. You cannot tell me that this is not Harry Potter. There is no way anyone who's read Harry Potter at any point could read this and go, oh, this is Harry Potter. They didn't scrub it good enough. They didn't file the serial numbers off. However you want to say it, it's too obviously Harry Potter. I mean, they couldn't even give her brother a different title that didn't sound like The Boy Who Lived. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. This was bad. This was bad. This was bad. Don't read it. I'm sorry. That's all I've got to say. And I am sorry if you've read an arc of this and you loved it, or you go on to read it and you love it. It is not for me. None of this was for me. We're going to disagree. I disliked this with every fiber in me. From page 10, I was like, nope, this isn't going to work. No. I'm sorry. I don't think it was page 10. I think it was page 2 when I read Twice Over Air or whatever his title was. Because I was like, that's really? We didn't change that? Hated it. Let's go up to 3 stars for a book that I'm mid on. Not sure, and that's Girl Dinner by Olive E. Blake. Now, last week I mentioned that I didn't love what I was reading of this, and I still don't think I loved it. It wasn't offensively bad, like Firebird or Rose and Chains, but it was something that I read. Okay, so this is about Sloane, who is an adjunct professor. I'm not entirely sure of her title. She doesn't have tenure. She's married to a professor who has tenure, and he's very popular and, well respected at the university, and she, being a woman, is of course not. And it's also about a young student named Nina, I think, and she is going to join a sorority. And we were in their heads in alternating chapters, and this is very stream of consciousness writing. We have huge blocks of text where they get lost in these thought spirals and stuff. First off, I don't know of anyone who thinks like this. Then again, I know my brain is a little chaotic and loud, so I couldn't relate to the way this was written. This was like long paragraphs and pages on pages of just inner monologue, as if this person is just sitting there monologuing to themselves, and my brain don't work that way, y'all. I don't know if that's a me thing. It was exhausting. It was exhausting and boring. So there's that going on. But also, this is supposed to be a satire of this sort of world and situation. Sloane gets caught up in the sorority that Nina is joining, and this sorority has a dark secret because all of these women that join it go on to be hugely successful in their own way. And it all comes back to the sorority and some of the things that the sorority does. And like, cool, all right. I thought we were going to get some crazy, wacky, weird stuff. I mean, obviously there's a fork on the cover. I think you and I can all agree that the great leap we're going to make here is cannibals. Unfortunately, the weird didn't start to happen until maybe like the last 15 to 20%. And by that point, I was reading it like this, like, yeah, not for me. No. It didn't hit. There was not enough there to keep me engaged. My brain doesn't work the way these long monologues work. I didn't care for it. I also really adamantly didn't like Sloane and her inner monologue, especially when it came to her daughter, because I have been in that situation of a working mother with a new daughter, and it's like, I think Sloane might have had some postpartum depression or some postpartum turned full-on depression as someone who had both of those things. Her brain, maybe she should have seen a therapist. Get some medication, my love. Like, I think perhaps she was, and I think that's probably the point, right? She's mentally unwell, but it was a little uncomfortable to read her inner monologue at times. But yeah, so this was a 3-star, not for me. If you like that stream of consciousness inner monologue sort of writing, could definitely be for you. I would say give it a shot, but the weird doesn't really happen till the very, very end, and that was a little disappointing. So what are you gonna do? And then because I was adamant, I was insistent that I was going to read a good romance, I went ahead and picked up The Sea Ogre's Eager Bride by Ruby Dixon, who I love. I love Ruby Dixon. And I picked this up, one, because I knew it would be good. It's Ruby Dixon. I trust Ruby Dixon with any topic. And this has the slavery trope in it, but it's done the way I think it should be done. And that is, she is on a slave boat. She is rescued by the sea ogre. Now, the sea ogre, when he holds up this boat, means to say bribe. He wants a bribe and he will let this ship go. Instead, he gets tongue-tied easily. He's very nervous. He has social anxiety. It's never called as much, but he does. He gets tongue-tied easily. Instead, he says bride. And she jumps up and she goes, I'll go with him. I'll go with him and you guys can go. I will be the bride and he will leave you alone. And he's like, okay, fine. He can't really say, no, I meant, because that would undermine his whole, like, I'm a mean, scary sea ogre. Give me this thing. So he takes her and they get stuck together. And his plan is to drop her off on shore and just go back to his sea robbing ways and live in peace. But they begin to meet, they get along. She is eager to try and make him happy because she comes from being enslaved for years. When she was a small child, her father passed away and she was taken and enslaved, and she's just been enslaved ever since. And she's like, I will make him happy because it is better to have one master, to be enslaved to one man, instead of being sold to a brothel, which was my fate before. Whereas he doesn't know this. He thinks she's just weirdly eager to be with him, and he's like, I'll just drop her off. She seems nice. Surely someone will take care of her. He doesn't realize what will happen to her. He does realize, and he finally tells her, no, you're my wife. I took you as a bride, and I realize now, what will happen to you if I leave you, and I don't want that to happen to you. And also, I like you. You've been hanging out with me and taking care of me. And it's them falling in love and getting married, and that is the only acceptable use of the slavery trope. Okay, in a romance, that's the only acceptable use. Just like with, what was it, the Bone King and the Starling. You do not remain a slave. You get raised up out of that situation, unless this is specifically supposed to be a BDSM book and there are safe words and this is a safe and loving relationship. There is no other acceptable use of that trope for me as a reader. End of story. This is what we have learned. So, golly, it was a rough reading week. I tell you what, that Rose in Chains truly, truly did ruin my mood and my reading for a few days. I was disgusted with it. Disgusted. I'm going to stop harping on it. I don't want to, hurt people's feelings who like it or are excited about it, but genuinely, no. Moving on, let's talk about the things I'm reading. Let's talk about the good stuff that's going on right now. So we have a stack. I also got a bunch of ARCs, so I thought I would tell you about those. The last couple weeks when I haven't been I haven't been reviewing a lot of the NetGalley arcs that I had. I don't let myself get on NetGalley because if I do, I'm going to request things, and my numbers are at such a state right now, and I've been doing it for so long in there that I get a lot of the things I request, and I don't want to like inflate my numbers even more when I wasn't actively reading things. But I did read a couple of arcs clearly and get them turned in, and so I did request some things, so I have gotten some things back, so I will talk about those as well. Let me double check, make sure, okay, making sure my kid wasn't awake. So first off, I am currently reading another Ruby Dixon book, and this is Barbarian's Hope. This just came out this week. I got it in the mail, and I am, what is that, a third of the way through that? This is fantastic. I love it, and remember when I said I would trust Ruby Dixon with any topic? This proves it. This is a second chance romance after the loss of a child, and this directly deals with grieving the loss of that child. Now, I knew that after reading the acknowledgments, and again, Ruby Dixon, I was like, okay, I can handle that. I love this so much, and I can't tell you why, or I will cry. Let's just say, and I have been thinking all morning about how to explain this without crying. Asha, right here, Asha is still in the grief of the loss of her child. And see, look, I'm already starting. As someone who had a very similar situation happen, I remember those moments. And I really feel for Asha, and I really love her. That's it. I gotta calm down. I really like Asha, and I like how Ruby's handling this, and I like the second chance nature of it. I'm turning a little red because, yeah, dude, I can't talk about it. Fantastic so far. I'll talk about it maybe more next week. Maybe not. I may not be able to do it. I am also getting ready to start a Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Allende. Very excited for this. This is, and I'll read you the little summary. This is an arc from Saga Press because I love Saga Press. Says, a song of rebellion, a song of war, a song of legends lost. The people of 9 lands know their history. The kingdom once belonged to the scathed people until their grey blood servants rose up and slaughtered them. King Ahiki and his warlords laid claim to the realm by defeating the rebels and driving them out to the Fever Lands. Now, thousands of years later, attacks by the grey bloods are I said this wrong in the releases video, or the video I filmed talking about rebuffed by the Invoker clans, warriors of noble blood who summon their ancestors to fight them in battle, but the war has gone on too long. A general draft is called to take the battle to the Feverlands and defeat the Grey Bloods once and for all, a plan that seems doomed to fail. When Timmy, a commoner from the slums, accidentally invokes a powerful spirit, she believes it can hold the key to ending the war, but not everything that can be invoked is an ancestor, and some of the spirits that can be drawn from the ancestral realm are more dangerous than anyone can imagine. Sounds amazing. I am very excited to get to this. And I also started last night Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame. I don't know what's up with the titles recently, but like this and the Autumn Home Springs Massacre, like they're getting long. I feel like I'm reading like isekai, like J-novel stuff with how long these titles are. Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame. This is my current arc read. It is from Tor.com, so it's a short one, and it comes out next week on the 6th, I do believe. Could I have finished this today? Yes, I could. Did I instead play Monster Hunter and farm up Sinister Cloth? Yeah, Sinister Cloth for event items? You betcha I did. So I'll finish that tonight. Now, as to the arcs that I got recently, and by recently, I mean, this morning. Well, no, 2 of these I got yesterday. So, Something Wicked by Fallon Ballard. I know nothing about this. It sounded intriguing. It has a cool cover. Please don't tell me it's based off fan fiction. Don't tell me. One that I know is not. Melina and Marguerite, which I also have another email about this that I need to check, by Gwen Strauss. Comes out in August. The Something Wicked is a fantasy romance. I don't know if it's an epic fantasy with romance or a romantic fantasy. We'll see. Melina and Marguerite is about 2 women who were in a Holocaust camp and their relationship, how they grew close together. I don't know if they fall in love or if they just take care of each other and it's their letters and their relationship, but it looked very good. If Not My Baby by Kate Golden came in today, and I actually don't even remember requesting this one, but I have it now, so there's that. And then I also got the second David Dalglish, sorry Lala, I have her pulled up where I was watching her. What is it? Level Ascension, I think, perhaps, is the name of this one. Let's see. My phone actually hasn't. There we go. Level Ascension, yes, by David Dalglish. This comes out, I think, on the 13th. So, goodness, excuse me. So I will read this soon. And then Galaxy Grifter, which I don't have. This doesn't show me the author's name. Let's download it and open it. A. Zakova, Blackjack Interstellar Book 1. I believe this is supposed to be a, like, snappy sort of science fiction opera about a guy trying to get his spaceship back. I cannot tell you more details than that because I don't have them. So that's exciting. And other things that I now have, Married to the Alien Mountain Man was dropped a couple of days ago, and I am beyond excited for that. That's the new Ursa Dax. That will be a good one. I also had Downtown Druid by, what is this author? C.R. Titus, I think? C.B. Titus. I had that pre-ordered and it came in, so I'm excited to try it. There's a talking rat. I believe in that. That's always a win for me. And I do also, I don't know if I checked it out of the library or where I got it. Human Resources by Adrian Tchaikovsky is a Tor.com original short, so I'll probably read that maybe tonight or tomorrow night. But yes, that is everything that I have read. The unfortunate week of reading I've had. On the tail end of Firebird, reading those two like mid to terrible books back to back, it sucked. I didn't like it. I want to avoid that in the future. Yeah, okay, thanks. Let's not use that trope anymore. And A, market it properly, and B, do a better job with it. Man, if you're gonna do it, do those things so I can stay away from it. Real quick, I will say I did also get Phantom by H.D. Carlton. I want to try H.D. Carlton. I like their online presence, and I'm not about to read that wacky one that she has out. It seems a little too much for me, and I like that this is historical. Look at that cool cover. But that's it. That's it. That's the end. 20 minutes, just like I aim for. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to you again next week with my next Friday reads. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.